Kisei with the chanting of the song, Elio Hanavi. Cleo is going to lead us in the, which you all know from the Seder, the welcoming of the presence and the spirit and the energy of Elijah the prophet. Please join us. What did Miriam know that allowed all this to happen? Well, one thing she knew, says Carol Rose, is that Egyptian women early at a certain time of the month performed water rituals. And she knew, knowing these women well, because that's what happens with out groups. They know the doings of the in-group. She kind of set it all up to make it happen that way. And ultimately, of course, her plan worked, because the little basket came floating down, and Pharaoh's daughter stretched out her hand, ultimately to draw Moses from the water. So Miriam was a woman who knew how to make things flow. And I guess that's in part why these two nice people decided that the major metaphor for this ceremony should be mayim, should be water. Now, you may know that mayim, which is spelled in Hebrew mem, yud, mem, is called a palindrome. A palindrome is a word that it reads the same whether you go from right to left or left to right. Like, for example, I or Abba. or Eve. So Mayim is the same way. And I guess part of that has to do with the fact that water has a way of moving where it has to go. It flows up, it flows down, it flows around. And so water and Miriam all come together because Miriam was the master of tides. So she knew how to make things flow. Later on, as our ancestors go through the desert, and these great leaders, Aaron and Moses and Miriam, reach old age, there's a short obituary in the 20th chapter of the book of Numbers that says that Miriam died. If you pay attention, right after that little death notice, what happens? Our ancestors begin to kvetch. Those of you who don't know kvetch, it means to complain. All these Jews can do it. What do they want? They want mayim. They want water. So the ancient rabbis came to the conclusion that as long as Miriam was alive, the water flowed. There was this kind of miraculous well that she kind of went with her. As soon as she died, it all kind of dried up. I have to add parenthetically that a certain scholar sitting to my right here has a book plate with Barry and stuff on it as well. That's another story. And so water, as you will hear, becomes the symbol of what is going to dominate this ceremony. And the two of them who are hovering on my shoulder here, make sure I do everything right, have selected 4 pieces to read by 4 different people on the subject of water and the symbolism of water. And they call these a kavanah, something for us to, an intention that will prepare us for the naming of this little girl.